Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Right. Still quite a few have to put on the camera, I guess. Just seeing. Right. First question from the questioner is Priyaji. It is said that how much ever times a snake sheds its skin, it's still a snake. It's said that how much ever times a snake sheds its skin, it's still a snake. Should one be cautious or compassionate to such a natural being? Then, question number 2, how to get rid of the scariness towards a venomous natured individual and develop compassion towards them? It's actually an interesting question. So, first part, how much ever times a snake sheds the skin, it is still a snake. Should one be cautious or compassionate towards such a natural being? The answer is you should be both cautious and compassionate. It is how do you deal with a snake? You are both cautious and compassionate. When I say compassionate, let's understand, if only one aspect is there, if it's only caution is there, caution, you will never remain at the level of caution. That's the reason the next stage is scariness or fear comes in. And once fear is there, you will try to protect yourself, and in the process you will end up harming the other creature or even eliminating them. It is that's what is happening in Afghanistan. It is either there is a fear, and in the process, the moment you have fear, only fear, nothing else, but only fear, you cannot remain in that. That's why that if there is only caution, it will manifest as fear, and it will end up hurting others, the other person or other object. And if there's only compassion, other aspect, if there's only compassion, you will get hurt in the process. If there's only compassion, you will get hurt in the process, because a snake which is venomous does not understand compassion. A compassionate person from a normal person or a fearful person. It is so. If you're to repeat it, if you are only cautious, you will end up developing fear and then hurting the other person. If there is only compassion, you will get hurt in the process. So you need both compassion and caution. Caution is your behavior, compassion is your attitude. Caution must be your behavior. It is and compassion is your attitude. The moment that attitude is one of compassion, because a snake will be venomous. That's its nature. The compassion is, you can't expect a snake to be anything else apart from being venomous. It is but that is your attitude to portray. Compassion is the attitude you need to portray. Caution is the behavior you have to adopt. So it is if you are that's why therefore when it comes to human beings, the caution and compassion. We always say, hate the sin, not the sinner. There is the statement, hate the sin, not the sinner. So caution, from a distance you deal with them. If you have an obligation to deal with them, still physical and mental distance, caution. But the attitude is compassion. The reason is, if there is a lack of compassion, you get affected, agitated. Why can't they behave in a better way? And they will behave in their own ways. It is, so they will behave in their own ways. So, caution, and it's actually a good question, caution and compassion, both you need. I repeat, caution in the form of your behavior, compassion in the form of your attitude. It is, once both is there, then it is easier. So, it is, see, when both is there, the other person cannot affect you. That's the main aspect. It is, the scariness slowly goes away because they can't affect you. You know them as they are, and then the fear goes away. So, and even though you have compassion, you will not manifest in your behavior. See, just because there is the statement you should love all, you don't need to go and embrace a lion or a hippopotamus. It is, it will, so, all the great masters say you have to love all. It's an attitude. It's a beautiful attitude. So it removes your fear. Caution, you have to have caution because it is, there was this famous Australian wildlife adventurer. He has dealt with many snakes, I guess, many poisonous snakes. And he used to play with them, and not just snakes, even animals. Eventually, he was killed by an animal. Eventually. It is, in spite of all the cautions and the experience he had in dealing with animals, eventually he was killed by an animal. It is, I forget his name, he was quite a known personality from Australia. This was quite some time, quite a few years ago. So, see, that's why once a venomous creature manifests its quality helplessly. That is all. It has no choice. It manifests helplessly. Human beings, even in human beings, they are like that. They are venomous. They are detrimental from a distance. From a distance. But why compassion is suggested is to protect your peace of mind, your sanity, your the way you deal with it. So, caution as a behavior, compassion as an attitude. Both are necessary. Just caution, you will end up with fear and hurt the other person. Just compassion, your weak emotions, you will get hurt in the process. So that's why I said it's a good question. You need caution and compassion. Once you have that, it's easy to deal with them. I hope you're okay, Priyaji. Next.
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Welcome. Thank you.
I've registered in my mind. Thank you. Sir.
Right.
Sure, we'll
Welcome.
follow the same.
Yeah. And another one is the question from Ramyaji. One word answer for karma, bhakti, jnanam, and dhyana. I hope she's there. No? One word. Can you explain in one word? Can you explain karma in one word? I hope that's the question, Ramyaji. Explain karma in one word. Service. Explain bhakti in one word. Surrender. Explain jnanam in one word. Clarity. Explain dhyana, meditation in one word. Dissolving. It is, you dissolve. Meditation, you dissolve. When we say dissolve, the individuality dissolves like a salt doll. When you dissolve it in water, it is when you immerse it in water, it dissolves. It had a form, but it dissolves. So, one word for karma, service. One word for bhakti, surrender. One word for jnanam, clarity. One word for dhyana, dissolving, if there is the right word. I hope you are okay with that, Ramya ji. That's what I mean. She had posted the question last week itself, so I didn't save that question. I just remembered that. Okay, next question. The questioner is Karen. Question: can serving others stand in the way of your personal growth? Can serving others stand in the way of your personal growth? Again, a good question. The fact that you're asking this question, it means that the serving others is affecting your personal growth. If it is not affecting the personal growth, the question itself wouldn't come. Or in it is so let us understand the intention behind service is far more important than the service itself. We always say the thought of charity is more important than the act of charity. So the intention behind service is much more important than the act of service. So if the service which a person is performing, if it comes from the mind, you like serving certain people. You like that. It is you like the joy derived out of it. So therefore, what the world may consider as service, it is actually pampering or catering to another person. That's why now it will end in disappointments, because any mind-led activity, there is an expectation ingrained in it. There is an expectation ingrained in it. So when your expectations are not met, the so-called service you seem to perform fades away. Fades away. So that's why you have to be cautious. Many a times, I have this like Mariner's compass. The intention is your intentions proper. When I say intentions are proper, it is for a higher cause, a nobler ideal. It is not. It is helping larger community, including you. So the intention matters. They say human beings judge you by your action. Human beings judge you by your action. Divinity judges you by your intention. It's a statement. The human being judge you by your actions, and divinity judges you by your intention. So it is therefore any mind-led activity in the form of service, you like, if you like the joy derived out of it, it ceases to be service, and it will end in disappointment, because there is an expectation inbuilt, and people cannot service your expectations all the time. Therefore, the person may drop that act of service itself, the so-called service. So what is the right way of serving? What is the right way of service, which does not just affect your personal growth, it enhances the person, it enhances the spiritual journey of the person. So the number one, in fact, it is, I suggest chapter 4, the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 25 to 35. A thorough analysis of service is given. Okay, but to break it down in simpler terms, the serving others, which also helps you in becoming a better version of yourself. Number one, it is you take up to service for the sake of service, meaning there's no other thought process. Like a flower gives fragrance, earth yields vegetation, sun gives vitality. You serve for the sake of service. Number one, there's no other aspect. Like the flower gives fragrance. It doesn't care who adorns it. Earth yields vegetation. It doesn't bother who consumes these vegetables. Sun gives vitality. It doesn't say to for the next couple of months I'm not going to rise in Kabul. Only in I don't know. So it's not going to say the sun gives vitality. So if we can perform service for service sake, it will be much better. And let me tell you, service must be a necessary form of action. We are born with this notion of service so that in the process you can shed your vasanas, your desires, and eventually merge with the ocean. It's like the river always, it starts with like trickles and eventually merges into the ocean. No river is destined to remain as it is. It is designed to merge into ocean. Similarly, as human beings, the act of service is ingrained in us. There, as a result, you are able to shed your vasanas, your desires, and eventually merge with divinity. That is the concept of yoga itself. Yoga itself is when we say union with the source. That is yoga. So, that's the first way of having that service attitude. The second is service as an obligatory duty. We all have various roles in life. If you can't function at the highest level, which is you take up to the service for the sake of service, like nature, like earth yielding vegetation, or the sun giving vitality. If we can't do that, the next stage is it is adopt service as an obligatory duties. Adopt service as an obligatory duty. Whereas we all have taken up various roles: a parent, a spouse, an employee, or a sibling. So we have or a seeker. We have taken various roles. Perform the obligatory duties associated with every role. Just perform it with no axe to grind, with no agenda on the result of action. Whatever your obligatory duties are, as a parent, as a spiritual seeker, as a employee of an organization, or as a owner of an organization, or as a spouse, as a daughter, as a friend, whatever your roles are, perform your obligatory duties to your best and leave it at that. And leave it at that. And the see, this way what happens is you are still able to maintain that attitude of service throughout. It is so this is the next better way. And the third way, where the third aspect where there is this, become aware of your selfishness and unselfishness while you are trying to perform an act of service, but there is a expectation ingrained. We may invite people for a meal, but there's an expectation ingrained. They should appreciate what I have prepared for them. It is and it is so justified. From morning 10 o'clock I have been preparing this meal and setting up the place, everything. It's so justified. Become aware of it. Whenever that thought comes in, dismiss it. That's what I say. Become aware of it, because we're a combination of selfishness and unselfishness. Become aware of it, dismiss that thought, and as a result, you will be able to go through the experience in a better way. That's when it's like an onion peel. Through service, one peel after other peel, you keep removing your ignorance, your ego, and as a result, you are able to gain that oneness. So let us understand, service appears to be a bigger word. Any act of ours, any choice of ours, if it enhances our ego and selfishness, you're doing, if there is a word, disservice to yourself. If any act, any thought, emotion, or choice you make, if it is enhancing your ego and selfishness, you are doing a disservice to yourself. Any thought, action, or choice which helps you to reduce your selfishness and diminish your ego, you are performing a service to yourself. So watch out on this. Let our service never affect our personal growth. That is why the manifestation of personal growth is cheerfulness. There's cheerfulness. That any a mother could be serving the child. It, she could be physically tired, but mentally, she's never tired. I remember meeting this lady. She is deaf and dumb. She can't hear a, any sound, born like that. She gave birth to a daughter, lovely daughter. She exactly knows when the child is crying. It's not that she's, or when it is not the child. She can't. I used to feel so bad in the sense she can't hear her own daughter calling her mom. It is, but that sensitivity is so strong. That service attitude was perfect, and as a result, it's a very different thought process. So, let that service attitude be constant in us, and it should never affect our personal growth. It can affect our personal growth provided there is somewhere down the line the selfish intent ingrained. Unconsciously it may come in because there is a certain proportion of selfishness in us, in each one of us. So that is why I say that's why the second option, do it as a form of an obligatory duty, and then it is and then become aware of it. And service, there's other caution is here is weak pity. People do serve as weak pity. Oh, they don't have anything. Oh, they're suffering. I mean, please do whatever you can, but understand there is people get what they deserve. That's the law of life. People get what they deserve. So let us not have weak pity. Where weak pity is, you give because your emotions are weak. Emotions are weak. You are easily giving into your emotions. So watch out. We should serve others all the time. But it should never interfere our personal growth. Again, a good question. It is the moment it starts interfering a personal growth. That's why I say now, there is every possibility we will drop that act of service, and that is not the way to function. So think about it. You're okay, Karen? Next, Mohan Raj, questioner. Advice on control of chattering of the inner voice. How do you control the chattering of inner voice? And number one. Number two, how to control or avoid decision making based on past incidents. I hope you are there, Mohan Raj. Oh, you are there. Okay, I can see. Right. What is your advice on controlling the chattering of the inner voice? How to control, avoid decision making based on past incidents? Right. The inner voice, the nature of the mind is to create noise. You can't avoid it. If you are functioning predominantly on the mind will, you could be in absolute meditative pose, Padmasana pose, externally very quiet. The mind is too strong. It goes to the past worries or future anxieties. Either to the things which happen you couldn't control, or things which didn't happen, which you thought should happen. That the noise of the mind will be there. So this is one. This is the nature of the mind. It is only through a strong intellect you can deal with it. Number two, if you could have made a bad choice, you could have made some mistakes, understand that was your maturity at that point of time. That was your maturity at that point of time. The mind will make you harsh on yourself. That's why you become harsh on yourself, because the inability to deal with the regret you are going through. The inability to deal with the regret you go through, you become harsh on yourself, and it's like a loop. The thought is going in a loop. So, and that's why I say understand that was your maturity at that point of time. Now you have improved. Now you are more aware, conscious being. That's why I say yesterday's choices are made with yesterday's maturity. Today you are an improved person, refined person. Make a improved, refined choice today. That's what I say. It is either yesterday. Rumi also talks about it. Yesterday I was clever, I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, I am going to change myself. So, therefore, the suggestion is become wise today. You could have been clever at yesterday and made some mistakes. Yesterday's choices are made with yesterday's maturity. You cannot do anything with it. I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, if the regrets are more, you can't deal with it. That's why, if you can forgive yourself for what you have done yesterday, you can let go of the regret. If you can't forgive yourself, you won't be able to let go of the regret, and the regret will mount and it will torture. It will overtake the mind, or the mind keeps ruminating over those regrets, and it will never allow you to make better choices. Therefore, that's why the intellect comes in. Yesterday's choices were made with yesterday's maturity. Today I am making a refined, a clear choice. So that's why now once you do that, it is you are better. So in other suggestions in this is, when the mind in it, you got to shift the focus of your mind. When that chattering comes in, when that noise becomes louder, shift the focus. Get interested in something better. It could be physical exercise, it could be walking in the nature, it could be listening to a lecture, could be a music. When this chattering becomes stronger, instantly shift your focus. Instantly shift your focus. So you have to distract your mind with something more evolutionary. So that is one suggestion. Then is, surround yourself with people whom you look at. When I say who are better than you, when I say better than you, you can learn or something from that environment, that people. That's why it is could be books, could be whoever inspires you. You should have at least a small group of people or books or environment which inspires you. If you don't have it, and all the environment you have, all the people you deal with are those who keep reminding you of the debacle you have performed, no chance. That's why I'm saying, you need to have an environment. See, who they may not even, you look up to them. There's something always. It's not that you learn all the time from them. Being with them, your problem doesn't look like a big issue. It's not that they made they made bigger mistakes. No, it is the mere shift in the mind helps you to view your own issues objectively. So, and then the last one, take guidance regularly. I wish you have a mentor or a guru, or the Wednesday sessions are all in a way designed to. I'm not saying that we are guiding you. These are all certain instructions. It is suggestions given which will eventually help you. So, it is essential that we reduce the chattering of the mind. Doesn't help. It is like, I remember my guru telling, this chattering of the mind is like you're traveling in a beautiful car in a big roundabout for 1 hour. Lot of travel, no distance covered. Lot of travel, no distance. The chattering of the mind is like that. It keeps on, troubling you. The biggest trouble it gives you is when you're going to sleep. Doesn't allow you to sleep. How can you sleep? It almost questions it. You can't sleep. So chattering of the mind it's a habit you have developed. We have developed. And again, anything we have, any habit we have developed, we can also drop it. That's why, the awareness should, using intellect awareness, when the moment the chattering comes, shift the mind to something, either even as simple as washing vessels, or it is why are you washing your clothes at 9 o'clock in the night? There is some other thought process. You don't want to be involved. No, you just shift your mind. Keep shifting the mind. So what happens? The impact of the chattering, you are diminishing it. The impact is diminished, and over a period of time, when the noise, almost manifests, instantly you dismiss it, and as a result, there will be a stage where you look at your own past choices or mistakes and laugh at it. Can't imagine I did that. I can't imagine. That's when you are looking at your own experiences, your own life experience as someone else. That's when you have really grown above it. So, chattering, which manifests as regrets, becomes too difficult to deal with. Therefore, don't be too harsh on yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Then you will be able to deal with the regrets. And once you deal with the regrets, follow the other aspects. Distract yourself. Surround yourself with people whom you're inspired by. It could be books, people, environment, and have regular guidance. Till such time you become self-sufficient in your own thinking. Have guidance. When I say guidance, from a master, from a person whom you have faith. And once you keep doing it, it's a question of time. You will develop that potential in yourself. And I wish all of us are in that state where we look at our past mistakes and laugh at it. Can't imagine I could do that. Can't imagine. So that's why. But have this notion: yesterday's choices were made with yesterday's maturity. Don't trouble yourself beyond that. Today I'm a better person, a refined person. Today I'm making a better choice, a refined choice. So this is the only way. Other ways are there. Substance abuse is there, alcohol is there, various things are there. Doesn't help. So you understand the nature of the mind is it will trouble you. It will trouble you. Therefore you need the intellect, a strong character. I hope you're okay, Mohan Raj. Next is Murali Prasad. Murali, okay. A reference is chapter 11 lecture where I have mentioned about Isavasya Upanishad. It says when you are attached to worldly objects, when you're attached to worldly experiences, you are in darkness. I didn't make the statement, it is there in the Upanishad. Isavasya Upanishad says when you are attached to worldly experiences, you are in darkness. But when you are attached to spiritual experiences, you are in blinding darkness. So, it says tamasic person gets attached to the tamasic world. Is it similar for sattvic person who gets attached? So explain blinding darkness. That's the question. Am I right, Murali? Explain blinding darkness.
Yes.
This is a long question. So explain blinding darkness. When you are a victim of instant pleasure, anyone is a victim of instant pleasure, cravings for positions, dependency on objects and beings for their happiness. It could be a worldly experience or a spiritual experience in a religious path. That is where the problem arises. So when we say darkness, a person who is attached to the worldly experiences, they know what they want, and that's why they are falling for instant pleasures. They are craving for a position or a person. They have made themselves dependent on an object or a person for their happiness. They are in darkness. They are dealing with the world and they are in darkness. So it is. So these masters say that is fine. But when you take up to the spiritual path or religious path, why do you take up to the religious path? Could be yogic practices, could be the religious practices, or in a spiritual journey. Why you take up to these path? Because you want to raise yourself, you want to become a better individual. But even in that path, could be a religious path, could be a yogic practices, even in that you have given in to instant pleasures, you are given in to the a craving for a position, you are made yourself dependent on a person for your happiness. It is blinding darkness, says the master. Worldly experiences, there is no spiritual the thought process behind backing it. You want money, you want a position. It says you will get it, but it is darkness because you don't know your potential. But a so-called spiritual seeker or a religious aligned person, they have taken up to it to find more peace and tranquility. But if you have got involved in instant pleasures, craving for a position, or you made yourself so dependent on a person or an object, it is blinding darkness, because the reason you took up to the path was noble, but somewhere down the line you have lost the plot. Somewhere down the line you have lost the plot. It's like, you always give this example. No, if you want to go to from Dubai, you want to go to Abu Dhabi, yeah, and everything is planned. You want to go to Abu Dhabi, but while going to Abu Dhabi, they say there is a Yas Island, there is Ferrari World, and you got lost in that all those extravaganza, and you have not gone to Abu Dhabi for a meeting or whatever. It is the entire, it was set, but you have missed out. It is a person who knows they want to go only to Ferrari World and all those places, fine. They say, but if you have blinding darkness, is a caution given to all the spiritual seekers. The joy derived from spiritual practices, yogic practices, is far greater from the worldly pleasures. Much more greater than the worldly pleasures. If it is then maybe 10 times more greater than the worldly pleasures you can derive. But the caution is, if you apply the mind even in those aspects, even in the spiritual path, it's predominantly the mind. You get attached to it. That's the reason I find many a times, maybe in bhajans and all those places, they are crying and crying. I mean, kirtans and bhajans, they're crying. I'm not saying, I'm not against crying, please. Tears is a beautiful emotion. Tears of gratitude is wonderful. But you can't deal with your emotions, and in a place it overflows, and nobody there to question you or correct you. It becomes an avenue, and you go again and again, not because you are becoming a better individual. It is an avenue where you escape your emotion. You allow the emotion to overflow, and it is detrimental. It is detrimental. You get stuck there, and you don't move beyond it. So let's say tears of gratitude is fine, but tears of suffering, I always used to say, there must be some premium to your tears. If there is tears, it must be worth it. We don't cry for unnecessary stuff. So therefore, it is watch out. The joys derived from spiritual practices, it is just a byproduct of your effort. But don't get stuck to those spiritual practices. That's when go beyond. We just completed the 12th chapter of the Gita, 35 qualities of a bhakta. It is so beautiful. There is no. That's why I said there's no reference to any of the qualities highlighted, any of the religious practices highlighted. It is all internal qualities. So watch out. Don't get immersed or attached to the spiritual, religious practices, yogic practices. Do it. It's a means to an end. It is a means to an end. So it's a huge caution. That's why you need a guidance of a guru, a mentor all the way through. Without the guidance of a guru or mentor, it is very easy to get attached to the spiritual religious practice, because we don't know, because we are in that trance. It is not it is no less than Gautama Buddha. No? It is Prince Siddhartha. All his practices, he was almost 7 years, he was tired of not gaining enlightenment. And he was lying down, the reclining pose of Buddha. It's a very famous one, reclining pose of Buddha. He said, look here, I have done all that I can do. He dropped that thought of enlightenment. The story goes, he gained enlightenment. He dropped the thought. He was so attached to it. He dropped the thought. They say the moment he dropped the thought, the so-called, he has brought his thought process to that. The moment he dropped the thought, the entire individuality, ego also dissolved. He became, that's how the Prince Siddhartha became Gautama Buddha. Same, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He brought his thought to an idol, and his guru, smashed the idol. When Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was in a trance, he smashed the idol. In that instance, he gained that oneness. So, blinding darkness. You need, that's why, at a certain, you need the guidance of a guru, guidance of a mentor, a person whom you trust. So, I hope it's okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next is Swati. Difference between a conscious being, unconscious being, and subconscious being. Right. A conscious being is one. Then let's understand what's a conscious being, an unconscious being, and a subconscious being. A conscious being is one who has a total control over their life's experiences, who have a thorough knowledge of the real personality and the acquired personality. That's a conscious being. The real personality is the divinity in you. The acquired personality is the name, Swati, with this body, mind and intellect. That's acquired. The conscious being is you are acutely aware of your real and the acquired personality and the life's experiences. Therefore, nothing escapes your awareness. That's a conscious being. Nothing escapes your awareness. That is when you are like an actor on stage. You play the role so beautifully well, but you know that you know your real personality, conscious being. And that is why all these masters, you can be a conscious being in the waking state, fully you're conscious. It is that's the human potential, they say, to be fully conscious. The next is, let's take up the unconscious being. Unconscious being, it is the equated to the deep sleep state. Unconscious. We go through the experience of deep sleep, but there's no conscious experience. Absolutely unconscious. This is when the acquired personality becomes too strong. Too strong. You may go through perceptions, actions, emotions, and thoughts, but there is no conscious experience. The reason is there is no conscious experience is because you are fully self-obsessed with a particular thought. Therefore you become unconscious to everything else that is happening. So that is why such people, the unconscious, they are absolutely lost. It is most of them. I mean, when I say not most of, this thought is there. Those were the days. I keep telling them. Those were the days. Yes, you were going to the school by bicycle, and there was hardly any facilities in the school. But you are cribbing and complaining at that time. But now you say those were the days, school days or whatever. In retrospect, and an unconscious person always thinks the past was better than the present. Unconscious, because the reason is the present is not too conscious. If anyone in the present, unconscious is you're going through various experience, but there is no conscious awareness of yourself in those experiences. And that's why In simple terms, we say, add life to your years, not years to your life. This unconscious being is one who adds years to their life. If you are a conscious being, you are adding life to your years. Life to your years. Unconscious being, just another year passes away. Another year goes by. So, unconscious being. Subconscious being. It's an interesting, subconscious being is, in a spiritual context, I'm saying, is when you follow high value systems, when your character is very noble. Through your spiritual journey, you made yourself, you made your character strong, you are aligning yourself to the highest values of life, you become a subconscious being, meaning at any stage in life, you may do the right thing, but it is not a conscious act. It is a subconsciously you're doing it. It has become your character. You could be in an environment where people may talk abusive language, but you are such a refined person. Your language is so pure. You have used language in the way it has to be used. Even in an environment, subconsciously you will function. Subconscious being is, it is designed to function in a certain way, and it is designed to function in a certain way because the software, it is set in the right way. Your operating system is fired with high values, very strong character. Subconsciously, when you start functioning that way, it's beautiful. See, this is when you have worked on yourself. But if you have not worked on yourself, and if you have given in to your emotions, we always say, the various modifications of emotions, modification of a desire, fear, anger, envy, jealousy, greed. If you have not worked on your intellect, you have not worked on your character, these modifications becomes a natural byproduct of your functioning. That you will, when anything happens, subconsciously you will start reacting in certain ways. Subconsciously, the fear comes in. It is subconsciously, when I say there is no conscious effort, the envy or a jealousy, it is not that you consciously develop. You have not worked on yourself. It just manifests by itself. You don't plan to be jealous. It manifests by itself. That's why you don't plan to be inspired, or you could, if you have developed your character to such strong ways. You meet a friend after a long time and he's doing very well. It is that's why subconsciously you appreciate his achievements. You say, I'm so happy and proud of what you have done. It's not that you planned and tell him. Naturally, you're happy for their success. Subconscious way we are functioning, which means you cannot go right. You cannot go wrong, I'm saying. You're always right. And other way around, subconsciously, you visit their villa and come back the whole night, you can't sleep. It is subconsciously that jealousy, that envy, that greed, everything is there. You have not worked on yourself. So, being conscious, unconscious, or subconscious is your choice. It is how well you work on yourself. If you're a conscious being, that beautiful statement, all the world's a stage and all men and women are merely players, says Shakespeare. That's how you will function. It is unconscious means you don't even know what's happening in your own mind or in others' mind. You hurt another person's emotions and not even aware you hurt another person's emotion. Subconscious being is in a positive way. It is your character comes out even in difficult situations. Your good character comes out, or the negative character comes out subconsciously. So that is conscious, unconscious, and subconscious being. We are all a combination of all these, and it is the more conscious we are, it will help us to function even at the subconscious level. Also, it helps us. If more unconscious being we are, our subconscious aspect also gets affected. So watch out. I hope you're okay. Nagarajan. How can we avoid yawning during daytime or when we are awake? I mean, you should ask a doctor that this question, not me. Yawning. See, one aspect is at least don't be with people who yawn. It's a disease. You are sitting with a person who yawns. Instantly, you also pick up that behavioral pattern. I don't know if you have noticed it. You are okay, but you see a person who's yawning. Instantly, it's like a virus. It catches. Yawning, okay. Anytime you yawn, daytime or midnight also yawn, means one is tired and second is you're not interested. Third, you are not willing to put in effort. See, your little child starts talking for the first time. Will you be yawning? The first time it starts talking, something it talks. Will you be, what do you want? You're not going to say instantly camera. You will take a video, post it on all the family groups when it is 1 a.m. in the morning. Where did the yawning go? Huh? Interest. My child. He started, and that too the proud, he's only calling daddy, not mummy. First word is and then only daddy. And then you see, I told you, he's the father's son, father's child. But 1 a.m. in the morning. Will you yawn? No. But spiritual lectures, you're sitting there, full air-conditioned place. Very silent. Only one person talking on top of their voice. And then some of their voices are also very, very soft. Instantly, that eyes slowly close. Not only closes, and then the person, when they raise their voice, at the time you wake up. It is so. And this is what happens. Yawning. It is so. Therefore, it is directly proportional to your inspired, enthusiastic living. And the seeker in you is alive. Seeker in you is on the verge of coma. But you are in a spiritual environment, on the verge of coma. And the two bhajans are played. Very soothing bhajans. Yawning comes, and that is when you move from the waking state of consciousness to the dream state of consciousness. I have seen one in the metro, Dubai metro, one person standing and sleeping. I can understand a person is sitting and sleeping is fine. He is holding the thing and then sleeping and snoring. I said, it is incredible. Everybody is laughing, but that fellow is blissfully unaware. Standing and then when he woke up, when he woke up, he was thinking, why are people laughing at him? Can you imagine? So, yawning. The moment you have seen a little kids yawning? Very seldom. If they yawn means the next moment they are off to sleep. That's it. See that enthusiasm, energy levels, effort you want to put in, and how interesting it is. How interesting it is and how valuable it is. All these makes counted. Imagine you are meeting the king of your country. Will you be yawning in that palace hall, even though it is taking another half an hour for him to come? Every moment you think he is coming in, the ruler is coming in. Instantly, you will be in your best spirits. So, or interview. You are given the position of a CEO. What's the next question? Assured. So, think about at least avoid sitting with the person who yawns. Avoid sitting with the person who yawns and drives. Not only it is only few yawns and then You are transported to another place. So watch out. Yawning doesn't help. Okay. Do a lot of yoga, Nagarajan. Headstand, handstand, or do a lot of that. Yawning will not happen. Okay. Hari Haran. Okay, no. Lynn. Lynn. What advice would you give to a negative soul? What advice you'll give to a negative soul? Uh, Lynn, no soul is negative. First. No soul is negative. All souls are divine. You are divine whether you are a sinner or a saint, they said. All souls are divine. Individuals could be negative. Individuals could be negative. It is like, individuals are negative. Souls are not negative. The divinity in you is not negative. Okay, but that's how you use a poor soul, a helpful soul. It is like the word love. I love golf. I love ice cream. It's like that. I love this person also. It's so easily used. Negative. See, the moment the advice we want to give to a negative individual is be watchful of your mind. What is negative is your mind. What is negative is your mind. The more and more you function on your mind, it will not stop until it destroys itself, until it destroys you. So, it is the instant suggestion is, as I mentioned before, it is you have to get uncomfortable in that situation. We thought that see, it is if you feel uncomfortable, I don't want to remain that way. That is when a thought comes in of changing. I don't want to remain that way. That's why sometimes people have to hit rock bottom. The moment they hit rock bottom, and at that point of time they have the right guidance or environment, suddenly they say, hey, I don't want to remain this way. When you hit rock bottom, the only way is going up. So sometimes people have to hit rock bottom. But even at that time, their ego is strong. Look here, I know how to deal with myself. Destruction. They will destroy themselves. Even at when they hit the rock bottom, at that point of time, that notion, the fear comes in. I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I don't want to be in this situation. The flight in which people are there, I don't want to be in that city anymore. They didn't want to be in the city anymore, rushing to the airports. They don't want to be in the city anymore. So I'm saying that desperation to that discomfort you feel in that position catapults you to seek guidance, seek advice, and then pull yourself out of it. So that's what I'm saying. It is there is enough and more help. Enough and more help. Watch out your mind. The chatterings of the mind, the noise of the mind. A negative soul, that's why, just watch out on your mind. The number one is, it is the mind which is troubling you, not it is nothing else. Number two is refrain from impulsive choices at that time. Refrain from impulsive choices. Suddenly the thought comes in, it's not worth it. And then they make a choice. I know a girl who, it is impulsive choice. The mother wanted to make a meal for the daughter. She was very depressed, and the daughter told her, I want to have some particular preparation. And the mother went to the supermarket, to the grocery store to get that stuff. By the time she could come home, the girl has hanged herself. It is a negative mind, a very strong negative mind. And then you make an impulsive choice, destruction. I mean, you have no idea the level of selfishness it entails. Cowards. I mean, selfishness. No, my issue, my problem, my suffering is far greater than anyone else. That lady, 3 years, still she is suffering. The mother, still she is suffering. Can you imagine? 3 years. So, mind, selfishness, impulsive choices. Just become aware of it. and then maybe you hit rock bottom, get uncomfortable, get disgusted with the way you have conducted yourself, and at that point of time you want to move yourself from that situation. Then you will seek help. Even if the help is not right, eventually you'll find the right help. Eventually you'll find the right help. This is where some connect. You should have the person must have some kind of a faith in some people, in an environment. Some faith. They've lost faith, and the notion nobody loves me, nobody likes me, I am not fit for anybody, and all those self weak pity destroys them. So at this point of time, something you hold on to, you're better off. That's what I'm saying. So think about it. There's many ways. These are some of those ways. And then next, last question. Please suggest how to handle disappointment. See, how to handle disappointment is not to take it as a disappointment. That's all. It's a learning curve. Not to take it as a disappointment. All those great legends, you think they didn't go through disappointments or they didn't go through failures? It is how you take failure, how you react or respond to failure. It is that's why we have that try that is no. If you have that word no, next opportunity, or try, try. No, what was that? We used to share that no or effort end. Okay, if you thought this is the end of your life, it is the boast. This guy used to write, I believe, effort never dies. And when he had a no for an answer, he eventually built that Bose sound systems. When they said no to the position he applied for in Philips, next opportunity, effort end. If you think this is the end of everything, effort never dies. See, let us understand the disappointment is just a feedback to your choices and your action. That's it. It's just a feedback to your choices and action. It is not should not be considered as a sentence, as a life sentence. It is that's why it is Thomas Alva Edison, some 10,000 failed experiments. It is that is why I'm saying disappointment. See, if the mind is strong, disappointments will be, you can multiply your disappointments. Intellect is strong, it is just a feedback on your choices and your action. So what will happen? This way doesn't work, another way I will work. So every so-called disappointments becomes an avenue to improve yourself. That is how it should be. And we are an evolving consciousness. We are not stagnant people. So let there be disappointments. It is your thought is try me. Not why me for all this disappointment. Try me for all these challenges. Let me tell you another way. We used to share that, the problems and challenges, the concept. Problem is, there is a problem when the situation you are faced with appears far greater than the potential you have. Challenges, the potential you have is far greater than the situation you're faced with. The potential in the form of mind and intellect is so strong. You can deal with any situations in life. A situation becomes a problem because the potential in you, the quality of the mind and intellect is very poor. It becomes a challenge when the quality of the mind and intellect you are willing to work on, willing to put in effort. As a result, it's a challenge to be dealt with. So disappointments are never disappointments because it is just a feedback to your action. Just a feedback to your action. It is, if you take it as a disappointment, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. It was their feedback to my actions, to my choices. If they say something and if it appeals to you, change the course of action, improve the choices, and you will become better. Let me tell you, disappointments will be there. Others may disappoint you, but you should not disappoint yourself. Others may disappoint you. Why should, if I don't give up on myself, where is the question of disappointment? Where is the question of when I first gave a lecture, there were two people, both invited by myself. It is, so, it is, if I felt disappointed, it's almost 9,000 lectures now. So, that is why I'm saying, it's just a feedback. Just a feedback. It is, therefore, self-belief. I'm not talking about overconfidence, self-belief. That I have the potential to deal with it. I have the potential to deal with it. And when that self-belief is so strong, it's a feedback given. You improve on your actions, improve on the choices, and then you see. In fact, over a period of time, you'll understand that so-called disappointment was necessary to improve myself. Was necessary. So that's the reason in scientific research, no scientific research is useless. Because there will be some other benefit coming out of that research. Coming out of that research. Therefore, nothing is, it goes for a waste. Nothing goes for a waste. So, think about it. Okay? Don't get disappointed. Not worth it. We are not designed to be disappointed. We are designed to be victors. And no negative soul, please. Here. Negative beings. All souls are happy souls. No, there's only negative individuals. And the individuals are negative because of a negative, degrading mind. So think about it. Serve. Have this attitude of service and let it never interfere with our personal growth. In fact, personally you are growing in a much better way. Your potential of service also multiplies. Potential of service also multiplies. And exercise caution and compassion all the time. Caution and compassion together. Mere caution doesn't help. Mere compassion to certain people doesn't help. That's why they start using you. The mere compassion. Mere caution doesn't help. Caution as a form of behavior. Compassion as a form of attitude. It is only you know that there is compassion. Others may not know. You don't need to make it explicit to others. And then stop yawning. It is get inspired in life. Get enthusiastic about life. How a little child wakes up with a smile, it wakes up. Adults when they wake up. So you get enthusiastic, get energetic about life, and then you see the difference. Thank you all very much. A reminder: this Friday we have the young adults Vedanta session.